So I never really felt like a girl as a kid. I always wanted to identify with boy things, baseball, football. I never played with dolls. The only doll that I really liked was G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip because he had all these really cool accessories. I remember one year I asked for a football helmet and football pads and a football jersey, and my mom got me a townhouse and a Barbie, and I was so disappointed. I kind of just didn't like being a girl and was mad at God because he made me a girl. Maybe because I had 3 older brothers, that was kind of where I was identifying with. And I was a tomboy. That's what they called us back then, and that's what I was, and that's where I did everything. Every Halloween I would dress up like a soldier or a hobo, anything that was not a girl. I was not going to dress up like a princess. And when I would play with my friends, I was always the hero coming to save the day, or I would be the lecherous drunk chasing them around playing tag. Even when I took dancing, I despised having to wear the girly tutu and act like a girl. My mom used to say, you have to take ballet because when you don't, you walk like a football player. So I would always tell her I am a football player, which she never really agreed with. So, but I never had like attraction to girls. I didn't have attraction to boys either. But when I started getting a little older, people would say things, and one of the things they would say is I was going to go into the Air Force, and they would say things like, oh, only lesbians go into the military. And then one of my mom's friends actually told me that my mom was worried that I would be a lesbian. I was always confused by that because I never had those feelings. I wasn't attracted to women. I just didn't like being a girl. In fact, I was mad at God for making me a girl because everything I liked was boy things. So I dated guys and got pregnant with my daughter when I was around 20. And soon afterwards, I met a girl who just absolutely fascinated me. Everything about her. She didn't try to jump through the feminine hoops, the wearing makeup or talking like a girl or any of the things that would be considered feminine, and didn't want anybody to tell me that I couldn't dress like that or walk like that or talk like that or behave like that. She didn't bother trying to figure out makeup and how to do all the things that girls are supposed to do. That's when I started entertaining the idea that I was a gay. And the more I thought about it, the more I came to the conclusion that that was exactly what was going on. And because she was evasive, I started going out to clubs and meeting girls there and dating girls, and it just really snowballed from there. I had a long-term relationship, and I absolutely took on the role of the provider. And my girlfriend at the time, she did everything. She did all the cooking, she did all the cleaning, she took care of the house, and I went out and made the money. And I thought, hey, this is it. I set everything up the way I thought it should be. And I remember thinking, man, this is exactly what I wanted, but it's not quite good enough. And so then I met another girl online, and I thought, that's it. This one really tapped into my mental faculties. She was so smart and witty and amazing, and that was the difference. That's what was missing, is I had found the one. I broke up with the girl that I was with, and I moved out to Las Vegas, U-Haul, daughter, the whole 9 yards. And as we lived out here, I could see that my daughter was struggling, and I thought she needed some help, so I sent her to church. I sent her to church, and I didn't realize that church began praying for her mother. And after a year of them praying for me, I decided I was going to go to church. I expected them to be judgmental, and I knew what I looked like. I knew I looked the part, and because I had totally tried really hard to look the part, and I was so surprised that that's not what they offered me. No judgment, only kindness and encouragement, and quite frankly, love. So what they showed me was something that I had never seen. They showed me Jesus, because that's who Jesus is. About 4 weeks after I started going to church, I had a meeting with the Lord beside my bed. I just fell on my knees and cried out to God and told him, God, I'm gay and I don't know what to do about that. But if you don't want me to be this way, then you're going to have to change it. I just don't want to lose your presence. And that's what he did. That night I cried myself to sleep. And that morning I woke up with a joy that I can't even express to you. The hard thing was I had to tell my girlfriend at the time that I was done, that I was in love with Jesus, and I was going to chase after him for the rest of my days. And she, of course, couldn't understand. And I didn't really know how to explain it to her other than to tell her that Jesus loves me and he loves her too. I didn't really understand at the time. I just knew that my life was different. And I had to be willing to let that go, that identity that I had adopted and worn for so many years. So what I would say to you today is, it's all about surrender. I remember Pastor Dan asking me one day what was, right after I got saved, when I told him that something had changed, he asked me what was different, and that's what it was. It was surrender. I had to be willing to let go of this identity that I had tried so hard to protect and everything that I thought was right, and trust that God had something better. I wasn't attracted to men suddenly. I just was attracted to God. I needed Jesus. I needed to feel his love and experience his love. So I had to be willing to step off the cliff and into being alone and see what he would do. And that's exactly what he did. He came and he filled all of those voids. So I want to beg my friends to make that decision today, that you can trust that Jesus has a better plan for you, that you can make that decision now, because you're not promised tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. How many of my friends who grew up in the era that I grew up in know people who have died? I'm not going to name their names, but we know them. And where are they now? Did they make that decision for Christ? Friends, I don't want that to be you. I'm praying for you. It's as simple as this. Tell God you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but you're going to trust him with everything that you are and let him take it from there. Hi, I'm Lisa Price, and by the grace and mercy of God, I'm on the other side of the rainbow.
We